So, to be honest, it's been a funny old month. As I like some fairy dreams incense, I think it does feel like one of those months where the fae may have been playing along. It's felt magical and otherworldly and odd, and as if invisible forces have been at play, and sometimes mischievous physical forces. It has been a month at the altar where I've tried to develop a daily practice, or I am developing a daily practice, I should say, and a daily practice with new dolls involved. Soul retrieval with dolls have come into play, and ancestral work has spoken loudly to me. When you see me bring out the Tarot Grand Luxe by Ciro Marchetti, which is the deck I use to talk to my maternal grandmother, you know that messages are underfoot. Messages about ghost trees or trees as bones, which I was led to this month by bibliomancy. Messages about the family line and about witchcraft through the generations in my family, about working with the element of fire or working with the element of water, one trying to put the other out. Messages about having power in your hands as a mother. It has been quite a month of messages given. Messages where on repeat fire and water have sat together. Two main players have kept appearing over and over again, sitting next to each other. It has been an opening month, a opening of doors, an opening of realizations. It's also been a tricky month. It's been a month of sitting, feeling lost and alone, and wondering if my healing, any healing, has even taken place. It sent me back to the start of a healing journey to repeat, rinse and repeat again and again, to walk through the flames once more, to rinse and repeat with water. All of these stories within the cards that I've been pulling have linked with my altar work, have linked with messages in meditation from the Morrigan, have linked with my work with the Weaver's Oracle, and of course out in the garden with the bindweed taking over. This the month that I worked with flower essences for the very first time, and I have adored it. The bindweed flower essence which I made, linking to going back to the start of healing journeys. Chestnut bud, a bark flower essence that I have been called to purchase and begin to work with in spellcraft with messages from the ancestors. Witchcraft has seen me working with flowers more and with spellcraft more. Also working with my key deity who I work with, the Morrigan. The Crow Tarot at my altar is just such a big part of my practice, such a huge part in fact. It has really been in play constantly as the altar is used daily. It has been a kick-butting and a comfort in equal measures, to be honest. Worked alongside as well with the wisdom nature cards, or nature wisdom cards. These are these two decks together, wow, really incredible. The messages from these little nature cards absolutely opening up again. Like I said, it's been a month of open doors, but the cards opening up doors. For what? The messages need to be interpreted as. It's been the most incredible combination, which at first viewing it might not seem visually to work, but it has been everything that I've needed to know and feel the presence of the Morrigan and to hear the messages clearly, and for that I've been so grateful during the month of July. My spiritual walk has taken off. The synchronicities have been off the scale, and at every turn this deck has linked in, explained why, and clarified. So it has been an odd month, really. I've spoken before about the realisation that the midway point from the summer solstice onwards, as we start getting towards Lammas, which is today, and harvesting and seeing things begin to die in the garden and feeling the countdown of summer happening, there's been a realisation in the last few months that this is where I struggle. And with the onset of the school summer holidays in the last 10 days here in England, I also realised that I struggle there. 2 weeks without my kids at the start of the summer, surrounded by happy families, is always really tough. And it's something that I don't seem to ever be recovering from, even though it's been this way for a decade now. It seems like some wounds we just have to learn to carry. And with the realisation of how very hurt in places I still feel, how very stuck I still feel, even though new doors are opening. This is why I've gone back to the very start of my healing journey. This book, Codependent No More by Melody Beattie, was the first book recommended to me by a therapist who diagnosed me with post-traumatic stress disorder. I've gone back to this. This is about the third time I've gone back to it, and I am making loads of notes. I'm going to reread all of my healing books. There is movement though, because on rereading I realise how much further I am. So summer reading, healing books, codependency, people pleasing, putting yourself first, making yourself more important than bottom of a priority list, which is where I was told by my ex-partner I belonged. So like I say, it's been a funny old month, free from the normal routine school holidays here, the fire of the Sagittarian spirit let free to shoot the arrow and adventure, but then the emotions of the desperation to heal, fire and water. And it would seem that even in the adventuring, water has never been far away, whether it be lakes that we picnicked by to celebrate my friend's 40th birthday, lake swimming and picnics, or giant puddles the dogs jumped in and we had to find ways around, exploring new walks. Time with friends and water, whether it be discovering new sculpture benches but looking out onto the ocean. In all the explorations of the summer holidays so far, water has been right there. And I think exploring has been a key part of July. Like churches, this amazing graveyard and church that led me to find that secret world spoken of with bibliomancy, or closer to home, this local church that I've realised opened up onto the most incredible walking route with circles of trees again, trees calling again. But of course, look slightly further past the trees and once more there is water yet again. Exploration, creativity, water. And then with the start of the summer holidays, I started with a weekend with just Poppy and Busby, and we found tree huggers. We drove up to the Forest of Dean, to the sculpture park there, a 3 to 4 hour walk around the most magnificent forest, spotting sights of sculptures through the trees, an exploration of creativity in ancient woodland, just the most incredible day. And again, water, ghost boats and sculptures, and maiden trees that were over 250 years old to sit and relax on. Look at the tree spirit here. This tree so old you could see daylight through it. I think more than all the sculptures, this is the tree that blew me away the most. The sculptures spoke of the history of the forest, of the people that used to live here, the caves underneath the surface, and the houses and the railroads that used to run through it. But of all the sculptures, this was my favourite. This was called the Grove of Silence, the most epic walk through majestic trees, all holding plaques of words to do with reverence for the forest, ending up in this incredible glade. Look at the trees here. It was simply breathtaking. It just made me realise how important to me trees and the forest and woodlands are. It just felt holy in here, with words like silence on the plaques. It was lovely to watch Poppy and Busby explore and find the sculptures, and to connect. This piece called Echo is a casting of the cliff face behind it. Just some amazing ideas. And finally, just to bring home that idea of the forest as my church, we get to a piece called The Cathedral Window. This has to be one of the most impressive pieces in the whole of the forest. I think it kind of sums up the majesty of the ancient woodland we'd spent the day walking through, and with the evening sun hitting it, it was incredible. A slow walk back to the car, we found some new sculptures. Time for a family selfie at least. And then when the kids all went to their dads, I went up to the caravan for a whole week, just me and the dogs. And it was a week where I used adventuring and finding new things to counterbalance the emotions of, yet again, that feeling of summer holidays without my kids, watching families with partners. I found solace in looking at all the new flowers that had changed along the beach. The field roses are out at the moment, which I love. And of course, water, the soothing balm of the ocean. Look at the bracken, it's all turned a dark brown. I thought it looked incredible. And sunsets and sunrises as well. marking the days. Of course, the dogs always love it up here, and this week the pink sunsets matching the pink flowers and the sea holly. All the sea holly is open, which I love so much. So sea holly and pink sunsets. The Barbie pink of the sky this week made me book tickets to go and see the Barbie movie, which I watched here in the town's really old cinema, which even has its own little shop that sells interval food. And it was a Barbie week. I opened these Barbies there and I adored the movie so much. If you want to see my thoughts on the movie or the Barbies being unboxed, I have a video on my doll channel, Tiny Soul Whispers. I spent time sitting here at the coat rack talking to my dad, the dogs getting frustrated that I wasn't moving, and of course Rupert swam too much. There'd been so much rain, the rivers were very fast flowing. I did have to battle him out of a few rivers. We also walked again around the Forestry Commission. Currently the whole walk is covered in mushrooms and a feeling of the fae. Look what the dogs do to me when I can feel the fae in the woods. They run back and walk either side of me. So again, even the walk felt a little odd. Mushrooms everywhere, the dogs keep returning, and of course the giant fern and moss, signs of magic everywhere, and water, again, water. I have never had the dogs return to my side and do this as many times as on this walk, and the woods did really feel like the fae were out. Really did feel at times a bit disconcerting with the wind coming at me like an entity at times. The dogs felt it too, I certainly felt it, but still we loved it. Water to play in, bridges to cross. Look at Rupert's face. He was going nowhere without me right there next to him. This fallen tree is still there in the forest, as is the huge sentinel tree. Can you see it up on this path? This tree has got some amazing energy, that's for certain. To revisit a place, these trees become like old friends. And look at these mushrooms, they seem to glow. There were so many different mushrooms everywhere. You can see how much rain Wales has had by how fast these pools of water are flowing. Still didn't stop the dogs though. And these flowers now, in the last video, these flowers weren't at this stage. Last August with these flowers, the message they gave me was this: we are like your name, Candy. Remember us, we will be important. On returning slightly earlier this year, the flowers are in a different stage. Can you see all the white floss on them? And it suddenly dawned on me, Candy Floss. My middle name is Florence. My name for fun can be shortened to Candy Floss. If any flowers summed up Candy Floss, it's these. A reminder and a call back to joy and fun. So with flowers heralding fun and wide skies heralding me to breathe, rowan trees on the side of the path speaking of magic, it all seemed to be coming together on the walk as a message of the many aspects of life. Sometimes our emotions are wild after heavy rains. Sometimes it's a still lake. Sometimes we walk alone. Sometimes we jump in the lake with friends. Sometimes the woods feel enticing and safe. Other times the fae are around and dogs guard. Isn't this just life? The many ups and downs, all mirrored here for me this month in the landscape. Some other notable adventures as well in July was finding the museum in Aberystwyth now moved to this old theatre. It was such a spectacular few hours in here that this is going to need a video all by itself. It's inspired art, it's inspired new adventure, and surprisingly it also ties in with the adventures of the Sheila na gig. You could have knocked me down with a feather. Also, on an incredibly windswept day, which was perfect for this scenery, me and the dogs went to discover the abandoned mines that are nearby. I've never been here before, and with the river raging through the landscape and waterfalls torrenting down the hillside, it was amazing. The dogs totally refused to come up to a couple of mine shaft openings, which it did freak me out a bit because they were fine everywhere else. But look at this, guys. I can't even begin to describe how otherworldly and incredible this discovery was. It truly was an adventure. We got soaked, we were completely drenched, but it was amazing. The dogs were fine going in here, but after their refusal at the other places, I was a little bit spooked. But it was amazing. Probably not the safest of weather to go clambering up hillsides of abandoned slate, but we were as careful as we could be, and it really did feel like an adventure. I love old buildings like this. You can literally feel the lived history. I can imagine the people that once were in and out of these mine entrances. Look at this. Oh, for a miner's helmet and a braver soul to climb down. It was just amazing. These mines are just outside of Devil's Bridge, which is about 10 minutes from Aberystwyth. I'm definitely coming back on a nicer day with the kids for an adventure picnic. In this wild landscape, with the heavy rain and the waterfalls thundering down the mountainside, you wouldn't expect anybody to live here, but there is one pink cottage here. I spent time talking to the guy who lives here. His wife collects dolls, and I bought some pottery from him too. And then back in town, I also tracked down a new woodland that I'd heard about. I found the entrance in, and it opened up first onto this incredible coastal path looking down on Aberystwyth. I can't believe I've been here all these years with my caravan and not found this place. It led back down into this beautiful woodland with a gorgeous coppice and circle of beech trees. It was just absolutely stunning. Also, as well as finding new woodlands in town, I also, as well as going to the Barbie movie, booked tickets to go to the art centre and saw the most amazing piano recital, and it was absolutely beautiful. Also at the art centre was this incredible exhibition called Impact by a woman that worked with sheet steel. The two doorway choice of entrance in put you either this side of the bars or the other side. The chairs were fixed down. There was a story here. The consequence of your choice for entry into the exhibition. It was incredible right from the get-go. Then inside she'd replicated smashed gates and fences and boundaries from her own world with their own stories, the impacts in life that we can't help but stare at, but that are full of pain. Many of them just called Impact, which really clutched at my heartstrings. Others, like this one, with different titles. This one called The Gap People Sneak Through to Prevent Having to Pay. This one heart-stoppingly called On the Way to Swimming Lessons. I can only imagine. Just such a poignant, amazing exhibition. A lot of the steel work either dip printed or painted or stenciled. Just an amazing concept for a show and incredibly poignant. A lot of the gates within the artist's own locality, mapping out her own life through steel boundaries. And then upstairs, an exhibition in the making. I can't wait to see what this is going to turn into. A huge installation piece. It looks so interesting. So with my daughter now having finished her school and waiting for her GCSE results, I've had the absolute pleasure of her being at home more and her nagging me to read books of hers that she loves. So July, it didn't take much nagging because we have exactly the same taste in fantasy fiction. I read the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I had introduced my daughter Poppy to this author a while ago with two of my very favourite books ever. The Six of Crows, followed by Crooked Kingdom. These were already on my bookshelf. She adored them and asked for Shadow and Bone trilogy for Christmas. These were books that she'd read which I hadn't. She was desperate for me to read them because she wanted us to watch the Netflix series together as well. So July saw me reading all three books and discussing it every night with Poppy, which is a joy, and then sitting with Poppy and watching series 1 and 2, which covers all of these three books, as well as introducing our beloved characters from the Six of Crows book. I loved this reading. I loved it. I loved my time with Poppy. I love discussing books with her. I love that we have very similar reading tastes. I then went on to do a reread of The Six of Crows, and in July I finished this book, and I am just about to do a reread of Crooked Kingdom now. So it has been a month of fiction reading, but not total fiction reading. Of course, there is the healing reading and note-taking I've been doing, going back to my trauma recovery work. But also I've been reading this book, Caitlin Matthews, The Art of Celtic Seership, How to Divine from Nature and the Other World. And this feels like coming home to me. This makes me realise that other people see the world and messages in the world and hear whispers in the world as I do. This was a joy to read, as is this book by Joanne van der Hoeven, The Book of Hedge Druidry. I still haven't finished it yet, but this I am loving reading as well. I've been really loving this new oracle which I bought at the start of July, which is the Findhorn Spirit Oracle cards. Again, it's got that kind of mystical otherworld feeling that's really been in the air throughout July. So I started the month working with this deck alongside the Tarot of a Moon Garden, and it's really, really spoken to me. These two together, particularly, these two make a beautiful pairing. I think you will agree by looking at them. This is the old version of Tarot of a Moon Garden. It's the one with the white borders. The new version is borderless, I think. This is the version I prefer, but just a heads up that if you like this version, be careful what you're ordering at the moment, because there is a new version out which is more cropped in without the white around the edge. Alongside these two, I have also been working with a deck that was gifted to me by Rumour over at Rumour Haven. This is the Mother Mary Oracle, the mini edition, which is borderless with the message on the back, and it's been wonderful and the gentle hug that I have needed through parts of this month that I'm realizing I'm finding difficult. It's odd to have always called myself a summer girl, and I still think summer is my very favorite season, and yet there is a melancholy that I've only just recognized creeping in. But look at these three together. So for that melancholy, for that feeling of, I suppose it's feeling lonely and bereft, really. Whew. Mother Mary is always the energy that just calls to me and comforts me. These three decks together have done that. However, I've also added in a fourth deck. I have no room here to even show you. Now this is, I don't think this is available yet. This is a version of Andy Taylor's Feel Your Chakras Oracle. This is a deck that I bought myself. For all of these decks so far, apart from Rumour's gift, have been decks I bought so far. But when I ordered the sticker edition as a gift, Andy put in this vintage edition that she's working on. The cardstock of this is very paper thin, but I don't think that this is a sale version yet. But oh my gosh, I have shared this before and I cried when I opened it, and it kind of has continued to affect me like that. In fact, this deck, Andy Taylor's Feel Your Chakras Oracle, in any edition, in this vintage edition or in this mini sticker edition, has been the deck surprise of the year for me. It was bought because I'm interested in unblocking this energy block that I just can't seem to shift, hence going back to the start of my healing journey. So chakras are a place to explore. Feelings are energy, right? And blocked energy, blocked feelings, chakra work is great for that. So I just bought it thinking it might just be a useful chakra deck, and it is. However, it's so much more than that. It hasn't been put away during July, whether it be this version or the mini sticker edition. It just hasn't been put away, and it's called me out and it's made me rethink things. It's supported me, it's clarified things, it's made me see things I couldn't previously see. So these four decks started off July with a bang. An amazing synchronicity with my work with Mother Mary at the start of the month. Through the post came an unexpected happy mail. This was from the lovely Gigi over at Earth Codes Oracle on YouTube. When I opened this, I mean, look at the texture and the work on this incredible card that was in here. But I immediately recognised this cut down card with printing on as one of the cards from my very first Oracle deck, which I gave away, the Work Your Light Oracle. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's the Oracle with the Mother Mary card in that I really miss, and I regret giving the deck away. When I opened it, not only was there a beautiful message, but there was also a pocket inside the card with some beautiful imagery here, and also some other cards from that deck. Again, they've been adapted and cut down, but they are all the Mother Mary cards. She said she didn't know which one I was missing, so she put all of them in, and to be honest, it's all of them. It was this one that I was thinking of, this service, but all of the Mother Mary cards in that deck are sublime. So I have these back for my altar. Gigi, thank you so much. Also in there was some ginger and blueberry infusion tea, some mango and raspberry and Turkish apple tea. There were these crystals as well, which the colours of those have fitted so well this month. So in this bag, charm with rose quartz on, which says love, and I just love it. So Gigi, that was wonderful. Happy mail this month, thank you so much. And Gigi, I really want to know, is this your artwork? I suspect it might be, and if it is, it's incredible. So let me know, is this prints from your artwork? Also, while we are on the theme of happy mail and surprise gifts through the post, I need to share you this beautiful Blythe girl in a candy top. She deserves a video all by herself, but I have to show you her because this arrived from the lovely Kerry and her kids all the way from France, and it blew my mind. Kerry and kids, you have no idea. I never thought I'd ever own a Blythe doll in my whole life, and the letter that came with it, oh, it was amazing. It was just so incredible. So wow, just wow. Well as the Fill Your Chakras Oracle coming in strong this month, there was also this beauty that Blue Angel sent me, the Solitary Witch Oracle, which is by Lucy Cavendish, artwork by Lady Victoria. Now, I think this might be a second printing. I think the original printing is by Llewellyn, because when people were telling me it's not out yet, but I could see it online, I realised that this Blue Angel deck might actually be a second printing of it. So if it's this deck that you love, be careful that you're getting the Blue Angel version. This took July by storm. It really did. I have loved this deck, and the decks that you will have seen me pair it with, firstly this Midnight Magic, a tarot deck of mushrooms. I love this deck. I love the backs together. If you had watched my review video for the Solitary Witch Oracle, you would have seen these two decks together, and you will have seen just how beautiful they are. So these two were worked together during July, and I loved them. I didn't think that this combination could be beaten at all because it was just felt so magical. I thought this was a unbeatable pairing until I tried it with this one, the Tarot of Tales, again a mass market deck. Just stunning decks. This deck is really unusual in the fact that it gives you different options for what a card might mean. So if we turn to the Strength card, which is there, you can read it as in the past or at present or on the horizon, meaning the near future, or from above or deep within. It gives you kind of different story element aspects to come at the card from. Oh my gosh, and I've loved doing that. It's been really different, and what I've been doing, I have been doing a spread with these two decks and then writing the literal story that it gives me, like longhand writing the story out, giving myself a mini story for the day alongside an oracle card. And it's been so good. Fits in perfectly with my word of the year, which is story. It is the perfect deck for this year, and these two together have been magical. And then we bring into play the Feel Your Chakras sticker edition version, again bought with my own money from Andy. Look at the backs of these, it's just so beautiful. And each of the cards has a few of the sticker images on there. There's a lot to work with this deck. So you've got underactive, balanced or overactive for each of the chakras. And it's just brilliant. Now, I paired this in July with Outgrow Yourself, which was a rare treat to myself. So what I've been doing, I have been working with these two decks together for a while, and I've loved this combination too. Absolutely loved it. However, I also worked with the Outgrow Yourself with another deck, which was a gift from our lovely Sandra over at the Spirit of Avalon, and it's this deck, the Cosmic Slumber Tarot. So Sandra sent me this one as a gift, which I'm so grateful for, Sandra. Thank you so much, because having worked with it this month, I have to say I think it has the potential to turn into possibly an all-time favourite deck. I have found it absolutely amazing, and these two combined, oh, it's been so good. It has just been so good. It feels like that combination of fire and water, this deck, that has been calling me all month. But combined with this being used as an oracle, oh boy, has this been an interesting combination. And I think you will agree that it really does look like something. And another deck that I've loved working with as well in July has been the Kawaii Tarot. But again, this has been one that I've paired with the Feel Your Chakras sticker edition. And again, it's worked really well. I have really tried to rotate through my decks a bit quicker this month, as you can possibly tell by the amount of decks I've got to share. I have rotated a lot quicker, and yes, I've felt sad every time I put decks away that I am just loving, but I've been in the amazing position where they've been replaced by other decks that I love as well. But these two decks together as well, as you can see, just fantastic again. So my last video, you will see that in a shop in town one day, I treated myself to a sight unseen deck, a dragon deck, perfect for having bought in Wales, the land of dragons. This is Caroline Mitchell's Dragon Path Oracle cards. Like I said, completely sight unseen. It's that call to fire energy and water, dragons by the ocean. I think we are seeing patterns here. I have been working with it since I unboxed it, and I have to say, on first glance, it has a kind of look of, it could be a very, I don't want to say cash grab deck, but you know, it could not have much substance in, just somebody's put dragons on the pictures, called it a dragon deck, and has like put a deck together really quickly. But I have to say, the essence of the deck doesn't feel like that to me. Caroline feels like somebody who is very connected and has spent a long time traveling into dragon energy, collecting messages, piecing it all together, trying to work out what her imagination is experiencing, bringing it into reality. Having worked with this deck over the past week, it feels rich in substance, and I am really pleased that I've got it to work with. I started working with it with my Witchling Academy tarot. I just thought the style of these decks together kind of worked really nicely, and it's been great so far, this combination. It's definitely one I want to keep exploring. I've worked with the Dragon Oracle by itself as well on my little mini altar in the caravan, but I think paired with this tarot, I've had some really profound readings, and I'm slowly getting to the bottom of this message to me of fire and water. And like I say, it's a deck that feels like it's coming from somebody that is deeply connected with working with dragons and deciphering the energy and the power and the messages of the dragons that she's meeting. So for that, I am very grateful for this deck being produced and shared, and I just think these two are fantastic together. And finally, for decks, I want to share another newbie that I bought myself, having seen this on Lisa Pepez's channel. This is the Creative Consciousness Healing Oracle deck. It's by Joanna Wright. It's mass market. Like I say, I'm going back to the start of my healing journey with books like this, and this just seems like a deck to support that. This is on top, turn the other way up, because this is the first card I've pulled, Bountiful Healing a Scarcity Mindset. I immediately thought to myself, well, I don't have a scarcity mindset, but then did the work, the creative visualization, journal prompts, and sat with the card and again cried. So it isn't one that I've paired with anything else. It is one that so far I've only worked with the one card. But look at all the other cards that are in here to work with. I think this is going to be a real journey. Soft breeze, allowing flow and ease. Self-soothing, creating safety and calm. Purple diamond, manifesting your dreams. Nurture, giving yourself love, care and encouragement. Violet flame, burning away what's no longer needed. Can you see how this is just perfect? Like schedule, creating a relationship with time. Time is one of my biggest triggers. So that is the Creative Consciousness Healing Oracle deck. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this rather belated Happy's catch up for July. Hopefully I'll be a bit more consistent making the Happy's videos from now on. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you next time.